I remain confident of this: I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. I grew up in Cottesloe in Perth. My family were members of the Cottesloe Church of Christ, and my dad was the organist. And I always remember my mum saying that when we go to church, we have to get dressed up because that's what you do when you're going to see the King. After school, I went to Nagala and I did mothercraft nursing. And after I completed my course, I did some nannying work. I met a girl at Nagala who became my best friend, and we travelled. We went around Europe for 3 months, and then we did a Malaysia trip, and then she fell in love with somebody and she got married. So I was a bit annoyed about that because I had these plans to travel and do lots of things together, but she went her own way and I went my way. And then my sister and I decided we'd go on an adventure. So off we went on the bus to Sydney, and when we were over there I decided that I didn't want to come home. So I stayed in Sydney. A little bit of a loss, but a close friend was coming through and he said to me that I needed to go to Bible college. And so with his advice and his prompting, I went to Carlingford Church of Christ Bible College. You know, I had a love for God and I wanted to share that, and I didn't have any Bible knowledge, but I thought, you know, this is what I can get from Bible college and see where God takes me, whether it's as a missionary or a pastor's wife maybe. So yes, that's what happened. After the end of my first year at Bible college, I married a second-year student who was from New Zealand. We went back to New Zealand to minister in a church in New Zealand, and things went along okay. I had 2 babies while we were there. Went through a very scary time when my second child, Emma, was a twin, and the twin was lost during the early stages of that pregnancy. But God, in His goodness, gave me a dream one night, and there was a picture of a baby in a pink onesie. So I knew everything was going to be okay. So that was very reassuring, and I thanked God for that. But during that time in New Zealand, there were things not going quite right in our marriage. I wasn't sure what it was. There was something, some cracks appearing, but I either didn't understand or I didn't want to see. We decided to come back to Australia, and my husband got a position as a minister at the Church of Christ here in Albany. I was pretty happy to come back because I had 2 babies and another one on the way, and so I would be much closer to my family. But then I guess the desire of my heart was for not this to happen, but my husband betrayed me, and so it was such a grief and it was a physical pain in my heart that this had happened in my marriage. And you know, I just knew that it's not what God wanted, it was not what I wanted, but this is what was happening. The marriage was not a happy marriage, but we did stay together for another 20 years. My husband stopped coming to church, and at that time Andrew and Andrea and I decided to come along to Living Water just to see what it was like, and there was a course being run called Elijah House Prayer Ministry course. And so we came along and we were just amazed. We just thought, why haven't we heard some of these teachings before? You know, they just were amazing. And during that time, we went into ministry groups, and there was such deep healing ministry for myself. You know, God got right to the heart of things, and through that ministry, I was able to forgive my husband. God brought deep healing into my heart. There was a word given to me through one of the other team leaders that God would restore to me all that the locusts had taken. And I know that that's what happened. The marriage didn't last, we did separate, but I had a deep peace in knowing that God was with me and that it was okay. I could let go of that marriage. I think I was desperately hanging on, thinking it was the right thing to do, to stay with Him, but God allowed me to see that it was okay. My plans didn't go according to how I had planned. Some of that's because of my choices, and some of that's because of other people's choices. But God, I know, was always with me. I can say confidently that He has shown me His goodness through my life. He has restored to me my identity of who He made me. He has brought deep healing into my heart. I've never been in need, and God has supplied all my needs, and not just spiritually, but also in that I have a home and I have everything that I need. And I wait and I pray, and I still come before the Lord, because life isn't easy and it hasn't got easier. But I know that as I pray and as I give things to the Lord, like my children's salvation and the healing and salvation of my brother who is at end of life with leukemia. So there's grief, there's pain, there's worry. But if I give these things to the Lord, He carries that burden. And I just know that He gives me my strength and He makes my heart strong, and I just need to trust in Him and allow Him to carry that burden, and I will see God's goodness here in this earth, in this life, and also in eternal life.